All right, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the virtual open house for the Department of Humanities and Politics. Thank you very much for being here and being prompt on time. It's always a pleasure to speak with our students about our amazing programs that we offer here at Nova Southeastern University and with the Halmos College of Arts and Sciences. So we're going to get started. So I like to, mention as well that I do have multiple team members here from my team, one of our faculty members, and one of our current students who's also, works within the department on other requirements. Well, not requirements, but things they ask her to do, and she's been wonderful. So with me, as that slide just popped up, go ahead, Teddy. Is Mr. Theodore. He's one of the assistant directors of graduate admissions under Halmos College on my staff. He's the one you will most likely have been communicating with back and forth. He's going to help you walk through any of the application process, any admissions requirements, and things of that nature. He's a wealth of knowledge, so please feel free to ask him any questions as you need to. The dean of the college, Dean Baumgartner. I'd like to begin because she always does like to, if she's available, she does like to log in tonight, but she's also very busy being the dean. So we like to acknowledge her leadership and vision as a dean of our college. She has been with us since 2021 and has led Halmos College of Arts and Sciences with distinction, bringing a wealth of experience in academic leadership and a strong commitment to the community-based research. Dr. Baumgartner is a widely published scholar, an international presenter, and a passionate advocate for student success and engagement. So to give you some context about where you'll be studying, NSU was founded in 1964 and today offers more than 280 degree programs. NSU is one of only 2 private universities in Florida to receive the prestigious R1 research designation, which means that we're recognized for producing high levels of research and doctoral degrees. We're also proud to be a Hispanic serving institution and hold the Carnegie classification for community engagement. And now our main campus is located in Fort Lauderdale-Davie, which spans approximately 300 acres and is just under 25 miles north of downtown Miami. We also have several satellite and international locations, including campuses in Puerto Rico, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. This wide network allows us to provide a rich and diverse learning environment. Now, one of the highlights of studying at NSU is access to the outstanding facilities. This includes our 5-story Alvin Sherman Library, which is one of the largest in Florida, and the Don Taft University Center, which houses a 4,500-seat arena, wellness center, and creative arts and spaces that support both the academic and student life that you would get access to as a graduate student. We're very clear on that. Hey, you're a student of NSU, you get full access to anything on main campus that you would like. Our students also benefit from a wide range of academic and research resources. Whether you're conducting independent research, collaborating with your faculty, or simply looking for a quiet place to study, the infrastructure at NSU is designed to support you from the innovative labs to collaborative learning environments. We're here to help you thrive. Now, the Halmos College of Arts and Sciences is housed with, the Department of Humanities and Politics is housed within Halmos College of Arts and Sciences, which operates across 2 different campuses. Now, as I mentioned, we have our main campus, but we also have our oceanographic campus, which is located out in Dania Beach. This college includes a variety of departments ranging from biology, chemical, marine sciences, to humanities and politics, conflict resolution studies, and competition rhetoric and digital media. Now, as I mentioned, these are the varying master's degrees that we do offer, as well as 2 doctoral degrees. Now, of course, today we are hearing from the National Security Affairs and International Relations master's degree. We're very excited to talk more about that today. Now, Humanities and Politics, it is located on main campus in the Mailman Hollywood buildings. We do offer undergraduate degrees in English, history, interdisciplinary studies, philosophy, political science, legal studies, and medical humanities. And the main degree that, as I mentioned, that we'll be discussing today is our MS in National Security and International Relations. Now, with that being said, I'm going to turn the floor over to Professor Ransford Edwards, Dr. Professor Ransford Edwards, who'll be introducing the department chair today and then talking about some more things about the program. So with that, Professor, thank you for being here and take it away.
Brett, thank you very much. And thank you for having interest in our Masters in National Security Affairs and International Relations. Our department chair is Dr. George Nelson Bass, and he is also a professor in our program. He actually teaches American foreign policy. But I am Ransford Edwards, assistant professor and also the graduate coordinator for national security affairs and international relations. My research focuses on business conflict and disaster capitalism, and I teach a variety of courses in the program, including international relations and economic development, to name a few. Here's the next slide. All right, so with this master's, we tend to try to bridge a balance between theoretical and practical skills. We have faculty that ranges from national security intelligence, a faculty that has spent 21 years on a nuclear submarine, to published and highly ranked historians, philosophers, and political scientists. Right, what we do is help to teach you to analyze critical national security issues, including terrorism and intelligence gathering, and to gain deep insights into national security and how it shapes United States security policies. Again, tied to our faculty, we have faculty with a broad range of interests, including international political economy, civil liberties, US foreign relations, and American legal constitutional history. So that's just a snapshot of the things that we do. Now, of course, our program, right? We have two ways for you to navigate this program: on campus or online. Now, it's feasible for you to take the majority of your courses online, but some courses are in a hybrid format. And what that means is you will meet synchronously, let's say Wednesday night at 6 p.m. You don't have to attend in person, but you have to be there at least via Zoom, right? So that is the hybrid courses. We don't have any courses that are strictly on ground, so that's inconvenient for you. This program is still ideal. So some courses are hybrid where you have to meet, but the majority of the courses are online where you can kind of work with the professor at your own pace. All right, so it's a total of 36 credits. You have 21 core courses and 15 electives. There's either two ways to leave. You have the comprehensive examination, or you do the thesis option, which is my favorite, right? You actually creating new knowledge, right? You need to maintain a 3.0 GPA, and you need to register for a course, at least one course per semester, to be active in the program. So again, ideally, right, for full-time students, you can take 6 credits. We've had students that have taken 9, but ideally, obviously, depending on your home and work schedule, right, 2 courses per semester is fine. That will still get you out of here in 2 years. After 5 years, right, we have to tell you to go, but again, most people tend to leave within that 5-year span. We do have summer courses. Those are 10-week courses, and that attendance is mandatory. And we also have practicums available for you, and again, a slew of elective courses. We also have a cybersecurity concentration, which is not necessarily housed in our department, but right, if you let us know ahead of time, right, you can take that as a part of your elective credits, and you will get, right, some skills in cybersecurity. And I think one of the best parts of our program, right, are some of our current students and our alums. And one of our current students who is here right now is actually Amber Paquette. And Amber also works within the department, actually helps with managing the program itself, and you can see her information there. And we also have some alums that we would love to highlight. You can just go to the alums. We have Brian Day, April McIntosh, and Mariah Johnson. And I think tied to the previous slide, right, as you can see, at least 2 of them do work for the Department of Homeland Security. And I think this is probably important to discuss. A majority of our students do end up at the federal, state, or local level of government. Obviously, with certain things going on in Washington, D.C., right, there has been some uncertainty in terms of access to federal jobs. Again, we're obviously monitoring the situation, and we hope that things get better. But in places like Department of Homeland Security, they've actually seen an increase in hiring. So again, with other departments, are downsizing, So it's, to be pretty transparent, this is something that we're clearly knowledgeable of. And again, we have students that also work in the private sector, like April McIntosh, that works for Mortgage Bankers Association.
Sorry, I didn't know if you wanted to cover.
Yeah, so no, so ideally, government and public sector jobs is one aspect where students tend to generally end up in. We have international organizations, conflict resolution fellowships, international security consultants. Obviously in the private sector, risk analysis, global security analysts, and in academia and research, We actually have a couple of students that are finishing up their doctorates. One is in Canada, So we actually do send students off into more intense study in national security and international affairs.
All right. So with all of that in mind, now you got to wonder how you're actually supposed to go about applying. So you'd be working with myself. My name's Teddy Uwe. I'm one of the assistant directors here at the Halmos College Graduate Admissions Office. With me here today is my supervisor, Brett McAllister, but anyone else you'll see on the screen here is more than happy to work with you. The way that we generally divvy up our responsibilities is usually by our department. So I handle our Department of Humanity and Politics program with the Masters in National Security Affairs. But regardless, Farrah or Megan there on either side of me are always happy to help any of our students coming in looking to learn more about our programs here. Now, looking into timelines for our applications, for anyone that would be looking to apply for this fall, you still have some time available. Most of the time, we set our application deadlines to a Friday so that you have that whole entire week leading up to it to get in any other sort of outstanding materials. So for this fall, you're looking at July 18th. A little bit closer, our summer term is about to wrap up here, or excuse me, summer application deadline, I should say, is about to wrap up here on April 18th. If you'd be interested in starting the summertime, definitely need to get those materials in sooner rather than later. But then looking a little bit further out for the winter time, that would be all the way out in November on the 14th. Again, all those are going to be on Fridays there. If you ever have any issues with getting in any of your materials, have questions about them, please contact us as soon as possible. Now, in terms of the actual application requirements, you're going to submit a general NSU application, which we're going to be able to walk through in just a little while here. Part of that, you'll also submit transcripts. Now, if you're coming from outside the U.S., you do need to have an official evaluation done by an organization called the National Association of Credential Evaluation Services, or NACES for short. That organization provides a variety of the different US-based evaluation companies authorization then to provide these evaluation reports to us in a more official format. If it comes from any other organization that's not a NACES member, it will not be counted as official, and we can't use that then for your application. You're also going to submit an academic writing sample as well as a copy of your resume or a curriculum vitae. And then if English is not your first language, you generally do need to provide proof of your English language proficiency. Depending on your country of origin, we may be able to waive that fee, so feel free to ask us about that. And then as Dr. Edwards had said before, we're ideally looking to keep our students around a 3.0 or higher coming in. So with that, for specifically your resume piece, we recently had moved away from requiring letters of recommendation, but we still want you to be able to list out people that have known you, especially if they're academic sources. So if you had anyone that would you'd like to use towards that extent, you can list them as references under your resume. As part of this whole process too, I wanted you to be able to take a look into what it actually looks like as you're doing an account creation and then when the application starts. I know there's a little bit of confusing portions as you move through this process, so I wanted to clarify a couple of things here. Now, of course, at every single point in your application or even as you're doing your account creation, please make sure you are verifying the information that you're putting in. We do have the ability to change some of this later on, but it becomes a little bit harder as we progress further in your application. Also, we generally recommend using a non-school affiliated email, usually more of a personal email, because we will be sending updates or having to contact you regarding your application as necessary. In some instances, I know not all schools do this, but you may lose access to that school email later on. And if you need to have access to any of the documents we sent, you might lose that. So just want to make sure that you understand that. And then, of course, choosing your correct entry term. Now, we do allow students to start for 3 different terms throughout the year. So we essentially do rolling admission. So we accept students for fall, winter, and summer. If you'd be starting for the fall period, that generally means you'd be starting around August. For the winter time, that usually means you'd be starting with the new year, just a little after the holidays. And then summertime generally starts for us in the first full week of May. Now, with that, as you start your application process, you need to understand a couple of things. Some of the different supplemental items, such as your writing sample and resume, are going to be available under a separate tab called Admissions Documents. You can click on that before you submit the application, but nothing will populate there. So what needs to happen is you need to submit the NSU application, meaning that you would fill out all subsequent sections of it and pay the $50 fee to apply. Once you do so, that does not mean your application is complete, essentially just the first portion, and then you can go and click on that admissions document section, and you'll be able to see new areas that have populated for you to be able to upload files specifically for your writing sample or your resume. Usually, though, as we get in new documents, it does take around 24 to 48 hours to process. So if you're not seeing it immediately shown as received as the status for the item on the application, feel free to contact us and we can go ahead and check that for you. Now, once everything is said and done and you have all of your materials in, I always try and send out a confirmation to you just to make sure that we have everything in order. I'll do one last review, make sure all documents are where they need to be. And then we generally look between a 5 to 10 business day period. Could be a little bit longer depending on when you'd be submitting your application. So if you catch us during, say, one of the break periods, or if you catch us closer to exam times, you could be looking at longer time for review process. Any questions regarding that, you can always contact myself or any of my other compatriots here from the Halmos admissions office. At which point, once the decision is made, you will be notified via email along with receiving a copy of your formal decision letter with any next steps to follow suit. At that point, then you can feel free to send any further questions about that. And at that point as well, then you would be able to start applying for certain types of financial aid pieces, which I'll cover in just a sec. But once you are admitted, the first step would really be to submit your seat deposit. There's a $100 fee that is your seat deposit that's put directly towards your tuition costs, and that confirms your seat in the program, allowing us then to fully activate your student account, and then it allows you to register for courses once your corresponding terms registration period opens up. So then the next step for that would be to go and meet with either your specific program coordinator or the academic advisor to discuss and possibly create then a plan of study. From that point forward, of course, you'll be able to start registering for classes, and then you may continue to meet with your advisor, or if you need to for any sort of admissions related questions, you can always come back and talk to me. Now, the big question, of course, is what we're looking at for total costs here. So we're looking at $843 per credit hour for this program. And typically, our students are taking 6 credits a semester. In total for the program is 36 credits. So you're looking at in total about $30,348 for the program. One thing I do like to clarify at this point of year, as you're looking at the top of the screen there, is that it's saying the 24-25 academic year. Our tuition rates are subject to change on a year-to-year basis, and we do generally see those change over during the summertime. So we should be getting updated numbers here in the next few months, and you'll be able to see that if you just look on our tuition fees page online. That's usually where we'll post that up first. Now, while you're here as a student, there's a couple of other additional fees that you may incur. So we have, or excuse me, that you will incur, not may. So we have our institutional fees, which in a year's time is about $1,800 for full year students on a per semester basis, which is usually how you'd look at this a little bit more so from the student perspective. It's $600 a semester. Now, that is based on your status as a student. So if you were to fall to part-time, it would reduce. So if you're looking right next to it, then it would be $900 for the year or about $300 per semester. And to give you a little bit ballpark estimate there too, since our average student is taking about 6 credits a semester on a per term basis, you would be looking at just a little over $5,000 in tuition costs. Now, with that, once you are admitted to the program, you are able to start working on a few different things in terms of financial aid. So FAFSA is one thing that's a little bit separate, that you don't necessarily need to be admitted to the program in order to be able to submit an application. Usually the two kind of just go hand in hand, though, because of course, no reason to submit the FAFSA application if you're not going to be studying, right? But regardless of that, one thing I like to clarify when it comes to the FAFSA is that graduate level, unfortunately, you tend to see less types of gift aid, such as grants. You're going to more than likely see opportunities for educational loans, which generally tend to be more unsubsidized loans. But if you've elected that you would like to do federal work study as well, then they'll give you your allotment for how much that you can make on a per semester basis. We do offer a variety of different paid positions throughout the university. Once you are admitted to the program, you'd be able to get access to the student portal called SharkLink. And through that, we have a software program called JobX, where you'd be able to go and apply for various types of positions related to the university. Now, in those instances too, many of those tend to be in-person based positions only. So you would have to be studying here in the US if you would like to do that. I know we do get a variety of different international based students wanting to take the program. So just a couple of things to keep in mind. And then we do offer a variety of different scholarships. Just real quick, if you did have any questions on general financial aid, we have a couple of different contact information for phone and email. I usually recommend giving them a call over an email because the lead times tend to be a little bit longer when you're setting in emails versus phone calls. Now, on terms of tackling the tuition costs, NSU has our bursar's office that's able to set up payment plans. They do have different timelines and cycles that you'll have to adhere to. So for those that are looking to start for the fall period, you'd have to set up a payment plan, I believe, no later than August 1st with the bursars if you intend to set up one. Depending on if you're a little bit late in setting up a payment plan or if you're in the middle of the semester, sometimes they might have a $75 fee allocated towards having like a deferment processing for doing those payments, but that's more of on a person-to-person basis. So with that, then, once you are admitted, you would be able to apply for scholarships, although I usually recommend first contacting whatever is listed as the point of contact for some of those different scholarship offerings. But we have three different types here. So we have institutional, college-wide, and department-specific. For the department-specific ones, you'd be wanting to look under our Department of Humanities and Politics, whereas our institutional and college-wide scholarships tend to have a first general criteria. So for college-wide, generally just means you have to be a student underneath the Halmos College to be able to apply, and then institutional just being a student here at the university. At that point, then, if you'd be looking at our scholarships page, you'd be able to read over a couple more details regarding any of those individual scholarships, such as the ones, say, that you're seeing over here, like the Wei Chen Endowed Scholarship. They'll give more information about what they're looking like for their applicants, and then usually there's a point of contact, which is either an email or a phone number. Feel free to contact that point, and then they'll be able to give you more questions or more answers for your questions. I would say, though, if you're unsure about who to ask about the scholarship itself, you can always come and try and talk with us in admissions. We're happy to hunt down that information to you, or possibly over at the program office, they might be able to provide that. Otherwise, you can always resort to sending an email over to the HCAS scholarships email that you're seeing listed in the red text box there. That is a group email, so depending on which scholarship that you're inquiring about, a certain individual may respond then in kind. All right. And we offer a couple of different tuition discount opportunities. So for those that are U.S. Military affiliated, if you are a direct dependent or a spouse or an actual member of the armed forces, or even retired, as long as it's you were retired honorably, then you would be able to receive a 20% tuition discount pending a review from our Veterans Resource Center, where you just send in a copy of your DD-214 or another form of your military ID identification. Subsequently, if approved, then that tuition discount is applied for every subsequent semester that you're enrolled in the program. Then on the left-hand side here, we have a tuition discount for local employees of Broward County Sheriff's Office. So there's a couple of affiliates with that. Usually if you're a part of like fire rescue, police force, or just the general office in administration, you're able to receive that. But you do have to be a direct employee of the Broward County Sheriff's Office, and you will get to receive a 30% tuition discount. Now, you do have to recertify that every single year, whereas for the military affairs discount, you only have to do that off once. So for those that would be looking to take the BSO discount, you just have to fill out a form every year and just show proof of your employment with the Broward Sheriff Office, and then we'll go ahead and have that discount then allocated towards your student account. Now, one thing I do like to preface in terms of how a lot of our tuition discounts will show up on our student accounts, they are not necessarily a line item like a scholarship would be for financial aid if you were to look under your student account. Whereas instead, it will then update your actual total due amount on a per semester basis. So you wouldn't be able to see the tuition discount in effect until you'd register for courses. With that in mind, if you ever want to check out any of the actual specific nitty-gritty details of the program, whether it be the graduation requirements, a general overview, or if you even wanted to just look at course descriptions, we do have our graduate program catalog. It is a little lengthy, so I usually recommend you can just come and talk to me, or there is a table of contents, so it's pretty easy to find the information that you're generally looking for, but I'm always happy to point you towards the right direction. With that, of course, if you ever want to follow us on social media, we put on different types of events all throughout the year, including virtual lecture series with both our current students and faculty, as well as more of these informational events, such as our virtual open houses. On most of our platforms, you can find us either at the designation of NSU HCAS, so that's HCAS, or our longer title of NSU Halmos College of Arts and Sciences. And it's not just us posting too. The Department of Humanities and Politics post up their own stuff all of the time. Did you have any handles for that at all, Amber or Dr. Edwards?
Yes, the Instagram is NSU underscore DHP, our department Instagram. And
Awesome.
in the bio, they have like a link tree with all the other social media accounts.
Wonderful. So yeah, if you're looking for any of these spaces, we're going to be able to post a lot more about what's going on, either more nuclearly within the Department of Humanities and Politics, or also in larger context for the Halmos College of Arts and Sciences. So we're always happy to share anything going on, especially with our students and staff. And so for that, if you have any questions at all, like I said, you can always contact us. I usually recommend reaching out to us here in admissions first, and we're able to field some of those questions. We're usually able to answer a lot more of your general questions, but if we don't have the answer to them, we're always happy to go and either connect you with the correct person, or we can usually dig up that information ourselves. So if you ever have any questions at all, I want you to know that you have resources available. Generally speaking too, as I've got with a lot of our applicants, they sometimes have had issues just trying to upload files. So I usually recommend when you are doing any of your, say, writing sample uploads or your resume uploads, do try to use Word documents or PDFs. Those are the most friendly types of files. Other types usually have issues getting uploaded, but if you have any issues with that, of course, contact us and we're more than happy to take a look at that. Now, with that in mind, I hope you guys all have gotten to learn a little bit more about our program here, as well as our faculty and even some of our students here. So thank you so much for joining us here today. If you have any other questions, of course, feel free to reach out to us on your own. And I didn't know if you guys had anything else you'd like to add before we close it out.
As usual, awesome job, Teddy. Awesome job, Brett. Thank you for facilitating this. And Amber, all right, thank you very much for the things you do in our department.
Absolutely, everyone. Well, for those of you that are here, thank you very much. I hope that information was very helpful to you and from all of us here at Halmos College of Arts and Sciences. We look forward to seeing you in classes soon. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your week and take care. Bye-bye.